and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting
I think
for
we should talk about how we
Waiting for you.
where the kisses are hers and his, three's company too. Come and dance on our floor.
Come and dance on our floor.
Take a step that is new.
Take a step that is new.
Leave a lovable space that needs your face, three's company too. Down at our rendezvous.
Down in our rendezvous. Three's company.
You're looking live at the Three's Company radio show, coming to you from the Regal Beagle Studios here at the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, New York. Today's show is brought to you by Coasters, located on Newbridge Road in East Meadow, the home of the friendliest open mic in all of America, every Tuesday night at 7:30, and also by Smash, Long Island's #1 upscale ping pong establishment, located in Levittown and Hempstead Turnpike, right next to the Governor's Comedy Club. So whether you're looking to play a game of ping pong or you're just looking to have a drink or a good meal, Smash is always the place to go. Smash is also offering ping pong lessons if you would like to buy one. And they are also, right now, forming leagues for the fall. So if you go to their website, you can look up when the fall league starts. My name is Jim Raya, and I'll be host this evening, along with my two beautiful co-hosts, Miss Bonnie Scalisi and Miss Mandy Jones.
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Woo!
I just want to say, obviously this is a very somber day, 9/11. So,
People looking for comedy.
but we are dedicating this show to all of the victims that were killed and the first responders, and we're going to start off by telling our own little remembrances of that terrible day, so many years ago. How many years is it?
You're going to make me look bad here. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I was probably the youngest in 2001, so I
Yeah,
guess I'll go
Do you
first.
remember it?
I do. I was in 6th grade, and I was in gym class, and I had a really cute little green three-quarter length shirt on that was striped. It had a white collar. I love that shirt. But anyways, so my cousin came back from the bathroom because she was in my class, and she came back and she was like, I think something's going on. Like, I think something's definitely going on, because she's like, all the teachers were listening to the radio and they were crying. She like walked by a classroom and saw a bunch of teachers listening to what was going on. And then my mom my parents had just gotten like divorced, separated, whatever, but my dad called my mom like as soon as they heard anything was going on. He was like, go get the kids from school. So my mom picked me up, and I was like one of the first kids that got picked up, so I didn't really think much of it. And I remember they took me home and just like explained. They didn't really say exactly what was going on. They just said there was a plane crash, and they don't know if it was, if it's bad people or what's going on. And my one aunt was actually visiting from Florida, and she had gotten stuck in New York and actually had to like take a rent-a-car back to civilization, back to Florida, because they got stuck up here because everything like came to a fucking halt for like a while. Yeah. So yeah, that was my
Now,
recollection.
Bonnie
of it.
did not tell me that we were going to be answering this question tonight.
Well, do you want me to go first so you can think about it?
No, I know what I'm going to say because I know what I was doing.
All right, go ahead.
So I was working in a bank at the time, and so I was just sitting down with someone, and I was trying to close a financial sale, and it was like $400,000, which is a decent amount of commissions that I was going to make. So so one of the tellers comes running over and like tells us news, and it totally like messed up the sale.
Oh my God!
And-
They're like, I'm actually devastated
and I'm sure they're like exaggerating what happened. Don't worry about it. Let's just focus on this right now.
fine.
Sign here, initial here, sign here. Yeah.
That's a perfect Jim story. I mean, that's like classic Jim.
Right. So I closed someone between the two buildings.
Oh, so you got him to do it?
Yeah.
Between the two buildings going
This
down.
is the business
oh
guy.
my God, that's hilarious.
Nothing phases him. Okay, so my story is I was a kindergarten teacher in Queens, and I didn't have a phone, and so I didn't know anything about it till lunchtime. Bring the kids into the building, and all the teachers are like talking in a little group, and I found out we didn't know because a lot of the kids in our classes, their parents worked in Manhattan. So we didn't know if some of the parents would be coming back that day to pick up the kids. And we didn't know if there were other bombs that were going to go off. Like, I literally thought to myself, maybe this is the end for everybody. Like it was very, very scary. And I wasn't even that close to it. I just can't imagine the people who were in Manhattan and had to like be really close to it, or the people who actually went into the building and tried to save other people. It's just a horrific thing. And everybody always says never forget, and I hope that people really stick to that because it seems like a lot of people are forgetting. But I don't want to start a whole controversy, but never forget.
I heard one comment saying, the way he judges people as he gets older by how bad they are is how soon they jerked off after 9/11.
Oh yes, that is somebody's act.
And he was saying, he jerked off in between the two towers coming down.
Who's I definitely
know,
heard
yeah.
that.
CK.
Oh, is it?
He
Okay.
said because if he didn't, they win.
Oh yes, I knew I heard it somewhere. So it was Louis C.K.
Okay, so that's who we'll give the credit to.
So Esther Forrester says, okay.
I think a bunch of people have done it though.
I
So.
just want to say a few of the people that are already tuning in. Esther Forrester says, oh yeah, Jim's all about the money. So you made the sale. Hi Gina, Conjemi Coffin, Bobby.
Esther, you're coming
Bobby in Zerio from Limo Talk
yep,
is
in
watching. Felix Rizzuta from Let's Eat Long Island. We have Bill Hansen. We have Jennifer Lentini. We have Kristen Florio. We have Heather Brzezicki. So thank you. Welcome to everybody.
All of you are watching. Type in the messages whether or not you're coming to Smash on Sunday night. So just a quick reminder now. So Sunday night, okay, me and Graz are going to have this ping pong game. Okay, $250 on the line if Graz can beat me. All right. It's going to be a great event. Smash is located in the same parking lot as the Governor's Comedy Club. It's going to be at 8 o'clock on Sunday. There's going to be 100 free pigs in the blanket, so that's going to be nice, okay? We're going to have 2 private rooms, which are very nice rooms. They have net couches and everything. 2 huge TVs are in them. And then on top of that, we'll have 2 ping pong tables that we'll have use of for 2 hours that will also be free. Okay, so you got free pigs and blanket, you got free ping pong tables, you got free rooms, free TVs, and then you're also going to get the first 320, maybe it's 350. I think some other people actually donate some money too. Dollars in drinks will be free. So you're getting a lot of free stuff for coming to this, and there's no cover to get in. So just come, you can eat some food, and it'll be our way of saying thank you. Also, Graz is throwing in $100 or $120 with his gift card. So thank you to him, and Rich Red is throwing in $100. So thank you to him.
And you always forget that me and Eric are the pregame. Me and Eric are playing the ping pong game
Yes.
first.
Well, everybody knows Jim's the star. That's why we do this show.
Bonnie's going to be playing the match first, and if Eric beats her, he's going to get to spank her. And if she beats Eric, I think Eric's going to spank her. So it should be a lot
I
of
know.
fun.
Win or lose, they're both spanking
Yeah,
each other. I think is how they
They
figured
just want
it
to be
out.
spanked, right.
They're like, after the game, I'll spank you, and then before
If anybody
you'll
wants, they can
spank
go to the
me.
Graz vs. Raya, RAIA, Facebook page, and you can see the rules if anyone's going to play. We're going to do an actual tournament after our tournament for anyone who's comes down. With you guys going to play in the tournament as well. Okay, Mandy is going to be letting people take free pictures with her, and she might even give you a
I'll
kiss
be
if she likes you.
clothed, guys.
Maybe, okay. And she'll if she likes you, she might even give you a kiss. So come on down for that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And there'll be free spanking if Bonnie lets you. You can spank her. It'll be
Okay,
fun.
so a couple of people are telling us what they were doing during 9/11. Esther Forrester was in Long Island starting work at Starbucks. Heather Brzezicki, she was at school at the time of 9/11, but she didn't get to go home. She stayed at school.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that was. Bill Hansen says he was framing a house.
Okay.
So,
Nothing stops you, Bill.
Kristen Tinsley is watching. Hi, Kristen.
Oh, Kristen, call in. You're gonna like our guest.
And Let's Eat Long Island, Felix was saying, I was a culinary student at French Culinary in downtown New York City. We saw the plane hit the building.
Oh,
Whoa.
shit. Felix.
Had to stay in the auditorium. The city was shut down. I ended up cooking for the responders and cooked in firehouses.
Oh, of course
I will
you did.
never forget.
Oh,
Well, you-
nice.
Of course, Felix, you're awesome.
Yeah, but this is funny. So this is really a funny story, but it's an interesting story. So that day we were having, because we were about to have another child, so we were adding another room onto the house. And since we were adding a room onto the house, the architect had the plans, and he was going to come see us that night. And he was actually on the floor where the planes hit. And what happened was he said, guys, I'm going to go downstairs and get a cup of coffee. Who wants to come? They all said, we don't want to come. So he went to go down. He hit the elevator. This is before any of the planes hit. He hit the elevator button, and the doors never opened. He didn't know why.
oh my
So he
gosh.
just went in the stairwell and started to go down. And he was
That's
one of the very, very
fucking
last people to
creepy.
get out.
That's
and all the
crazy.
people in that room.
And
obviously died.
Jennifer Lentini from Costas, she said, I was cutting class from college and called my dad to make sure he was okay, then asked why I was home. So everybody has a story. You know, everybody remembers where they were that day. But Kristen Tinsley was working with the horses. And then Jennifer goes, I'm missing the spanking for the Backstreet Boys. Maybe they do spankings. LOL. Right, she can't come to our event because she's going to see the Backstreet Boys.
Who can't come?
Jennifer.
Or
Okay.
film it. I'll have the whole thing on live. It might get
Okay.
ripped down, but
All right, so do
try.
we do our sponsors? We ready to bring on our first
We already
guest?
did sponsors to start off the show.
All right, so we're going to bring on our first guest. He's a longtime favorite at Governor's, and his name is Hugh Daniel Murray the Fourth.
woo!
Good looking guy.
What's up? Welcome,
And
welcome.
Mandy and I have done shows with you, so we know you.
Well, you got. We know you from Terry's shows.
Terry
Terry's
McNeil,
Laughs
yeah.
in the Little Room.
Yes.
Yeah, Terry's one of my good friends.
Yeah, you guys have rolled together forever, right?
Yeah, we went on in the Road Rage tour back a couple years ago with George Gallo and Chris Davis was there, Mike Keegan, but the main tour we did for 8 days, we hit Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So that was fun. We did a lot of traveling together. Me, Terry, and George.
Oh, those must have been
So are you,
really
are you
interesting
doing,
stories.
Are you doing comedy full time?
Not as much right now because I have my day job, which is technically a night job. You know, I work overnights
Okay.
as an engineer. So you know, I do shows when I can, but at the time I was doing comedy full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've watched your act a bunch of times. Are you feel comfortable talking about your act?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I think I was listening to Knock 'em Dead this morning, and they would talk. One of the guests was talking about how he has post-traumatic stress disorder, because he was one of the people that went into the building, and he's a lot of things they just flash back to him, and the mental health fields are, you know, it's very difficult to get good help for all kinds of things. So I think your act is very important because it
Very
talks about. It is. It's very important because it
This
talks.
is a comedy show. Right,
It's more important than 9/11, definitely.
Yeah,
It's something
I
that-
think so.
So-
It's a problem every day of the fucking week.
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to let him explain it because I don't want to put any words in his
Why
mouth.
don't you tell us a joke? Why don't you tell us a little bit of a couple?
Joke.
You wanna-
You know, you gotta know comedians hate that.
Yeah, come on.
Well,
Well,
you're a
set-
comedian. Tell me
yeah,
a
all right,
joke.
tell
Do
me
30
a-
minutes.
one-
Do
one-
30 seconds of your act.
30
Yeah.
seconds of my
Do a
act.
couple of jokes that they're gonna
I
clue
don't
the
know.
people
I
into
talk
what we're
about
talking about.
corgis and cats, and no, I try to talk about addiction issues, mental health, because years ago when I started, I kind of was doing like, you know, I'm talking 2010. I was doing like a character, you know. I wasn't really myself, and John Truson told me, you get like a luxury of a microphone in front of an audience. What do you want to say? You know, like, what do you actually want to talk about? Like, you don't, not just tell jokes that you think are funny, or, you know, like, what do you want to talk about? So I started switching my act more to like personal stuff that I was going through. You know, I had a very public arrest in 2013. So it made a front cover. It's one of Jimmy's favorite stories. But it made page 7 of the New York Post.
Is that like
Ooh.
a credential to run with Terry McNeely?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to be on the
Yep.
first 10 pages of a newspaper about some like horrible
Absolutely.
catastrophe that you caused.
Yeah, New Year's Day, I was on page 7 of the New York Post.
Oh fuck,
So
man.
everyone
Oh,
saw it. So
God.
like, I at that point, you know, it's like everything, people already know everything about me, you know, like my address was in the newspaper.
Oh yeah, so you might as
know?
well be honest on stage, dude.
Exactly. So like, what do I have to hide at this point?
Was it
Where,
a
like,
car accident?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
No. I didn't hit anyone. I
Armed
just,
robbery,
just
Bonnie.
just a DWI, but I actually got a cheesy New York headline because in my car I had a taser.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I got like
Thinks
this little.
it's cool to tase.
Well, no, no.
but we brought him to his end of his days.
Yeah, it was real cheesy, and it looked like a cell phone. So it said, it was the first time someone recognized me as a comedian too. It said, "Comedian's cell phone has a zing tone."
It's like they called me a comedian.
And you're all excited because they call you a comedian.
Oh
That's
yes,
awesome.
my first
I
credit.
finally did it,
Mom, Dad, look, they call me a
New York
comedian.
Post, yeah, right next to Artie Lang, and
I just want to shout out Nick Tillelli. Didn't he win the Long Island Laugh Off? Shout out to, congratulations to you, Nick. If you want to call in, we're, you know, that is quite a feat
So
to
fu-
win from all of the comics on Long
So
Island.
banging your mother jokes, I guess, was the one that was big winner this year. No, Nick is very funny. He's very funny.
yeah,
Yeah,
congrats.
I've definitely seen Nick, but I can't recall.
The
his
night
act.
when I was
I've never
in
seen him.
when the laugh off, all the comedians, you know, we're in the room having the drinks at the bar or whatever, and then you can kind of hear the crowd laughing a little bit, and then the person's on stage. But normally no one pays attention to. We can hear it through the TVs, but no one's paying attention to the comics on the stage. And then when Nick got up, all the comedians actually stopped talking. They were like listening. It was very funny, and they were laughing. I was like, wow, that's pretty. That all the comedians just stopped what they were doing and listened.
Yeah, I don't.
He
Think
did a
I've
good
ever
job. He
seen
did
him.
really
So
good.
No, I don't know
congratulations,
him.
Nick. We're
Congratulations.
Even though I wanted John Alvaro to win, it's fine.
Yeah, no, like
we love you, Nick.
Rivalry.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know, like,
John
any
can
of the
never-
John
finalists.
runs the mic with us, so
Yeah,
you know.
John
Yeah.
John can never win it.
John went over a minute and
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
half.
say,
Oh my
John-
God!
I was like,
yeah, no,
if I had
John.
been in the audience, I would have like a taser. I would
Yeah.
have tasered you to shut your mouth after after you were 1 minute, 1
John
second
can
over.
never
You gotta
win
be
a
careful.
contest
That's
because
a
he goes
misdemeanor.
over every
always
single
goes
time.
over.
Always.
Yeah.
And
Always
actually,
goes over.
I'm surprised they even pass him on most of the time because he goes over and he still advances rounds.
Yes.
But I guess he can't win that. But
He went
Yeah.
over, I think, a minute and a half, which
yeah,
is a long
yeah,
time.
yeah, you should
I
feel
don't know
that,
how
man.
How that happened.
Yeah.
John, the leprechaun jump doesn't take that long. Come on.
Hey, no, seriously, that's like 13 seconds.
So getting back to what you were talking about.
Yeah, 9/11.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's such a weird thing to follow 9/11 on a
I
podcast.
know,
Yeah.
it's very...
You know,
Yeah,
like
let's talk about.
well,
Right, it's like, or a little girl tap dancing.
I was just glad that the podcast was on 9/11 because I didn't forget. I didn't forget to show up.
That's true. It's a date you don't
There
forget.
you
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what I like
You were
to talk
you were
about.
talking
is,
about,
the mental health, and I started being a little bit more honest about like depression and anxiety and stuff like that that I kind of deal with on a daily basis, and used to self-medicate for. Like that. Most people, I feel like.
Did you self-medicate with weed?
A little harder. I was heroin.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
that's definitely self-medicating.
Yep,
Okay.
I was definitely into the heroin.
And how'd you get off that? Because some people never can get off of it.
Crack.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, it was. I had
No, that
like
actually
the
works,
whole opiate epidemic, hit. Like I got injured in 2012. Started taking Vicodin, because I was injured, had my jaw wired shut,
Wow.
and they gave me like 300 Vicodin or whatever. Wired my jaw shut. I couldn't fit one of the pills through the wires.
Oh my God.
So then they gave me
God,
like.
had to start storing them.
Well,
Like, at that point.
Yeah, but then they gave me the liquid painkillers. Then the wires came off, and then I just had 300 Vicodin laying around. So like I just felt like it was almost I just started taking them to sleep or whatever, and eventually when all the dirty doctors started getting locked up, you just couldn't find painkillers.
Oh, they're so strict now.
Yeah,
Very strict.
Yeah,
now.
they do not give them for anything. So then it just got easier to buy stuff off the street, and it's just like a natural progression. I feel like for a lot of people these days, like you get injured and it's something that you didn't expect to happen, and then all of a sudden you're sticking a needle in your arm.
Yeah, and like you said, like you're already addicted to opiates, and then opiates are gone. So you got or legal opiates. Somebody's legal opiates are gone. The illegal opiates are gonna flood the the market.
Exactly, and it's I don't know. It was like all this once. I've never been physically addicted to anything before, where it was like it wasn't just like pot smoker with like the mental side where it's like, oh, I can't relax unless I smoke pot, or same with like cocaine and stuff like that. It's more of a mental addiction, but like the opiates, you basically go through like the worst flu you've ever had. So it's like now if you think about like the worst stomach flu you've ever had, and then I shoot you a text saying I could get rid of that in 0.15 seconds if you give me $80. Like, are you gonna do that? Like,
right.
Most people are like, yeah, I'll do that. It's just immediately alleviates all the symptoms, and it's just hard to break that. That's the mental side, but then you have the actual physical, like sickness that you're going through, and it was tough to go through. So you needed help. So I started, like I talk about in my act, like I go to AANA meetings. I had to go to detoxes and rehabs and stuff, and it took me a while before I really got it. Like before I was able to string along some time.
What, are you allowed to drink right now, or?
No, I don't drink. I'm trying to stay away from that just because. I just passed my road test Monday. So like I don't want to get it taken away again. My license was gone for like almost 7 years, but no, the program like is no mind or mood altering substances.
Because that's hard. Because in a comedy club, I mean, it's all drinks and it's hard. It's like
Yeah.
you're around it. It must be very hard.
It is. It's rough to.
Finally gonna drive him back to drinking.
Yeah. Well,
She's like,
Yeah,
it's all around
I
you.
know,
Don't you
so,
really
yeah,
want it?
There's a bar over here
I mean,
that
like,
we could hit.
You want me to get
after
you a beer
the
right
show.
now?
are you guys buying or?
So I just want to say hello to a few people that are tuning in. Bruno, our big supporter, Bruno,
Bruno's the best.
is watching. Benny Rosita, I love Benny.
Benny.
And everybody's saying hello to each other on
Benny
our page. Adam Colbert. Does anyone know Adam?
Colbert.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, Steven's brother.
Is Lauren
Yeah.
watching there?
Who?
DeSaces?
No, not yet. So anyway, you do a lot of traveling with Terry McNeely still, or
No, I haven't in a while.
because you were gonna say your next show is
November 8th, I'll be with Terry in the Little Room of Governors. I think I'm hosting that show. Terry and I have we've traveled a lot. George was always the headliner, Terry was the feature, and I was the host. And because they said normally headliners don't get to bring their own host. But because it was such a unique brand of New York, like in-your-face comedy, we created this character. It was called White Boy Roy from Illinois, and
That's
like
funny.
and that would be like the host they would give Gallo, and it would be like this local like terrible comic that's just like telling local stories in like rural Indiana or whatever. So they started bringing their own host. And that's when I got to like go on to a lot of different clubs all over the country with these guys, and it was a cool experience.
Well, what's the funniest story that you can recall that you're allowed to tell on the radio legally?
By
Tell
far,
anything,
yeah, by far was the we had that 8-day tour, so we had to do a show in Indiana, and unless we made it to that show, we wouldn't have been able to make it.
Oh, Terry told us that.
Yeah.
That he
Oh,
told
it
me
was
this,
no, it was
backstage.
Ohio.
This is funny. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we hit Ohio, and then we had to make it to Michigan City. So the budget from that show was gonna extend our budget where we could pay for gas and food and stuff. So we hit a flash snowstorm where basically the sky just opened up, dumped 3 feet of snow on like the turnpike. All the tractor trailers jackknifed. We sat in traffic for 8 hours. And now I was just
And
nodding
then you
out.
missed the money from from that last show that was supposed to support you for the rest.
Yeah, we're waiting in traffic. I slept through the whole thing because I was high as a kite. And Terry and George got out and started talking to everybody, and they, Terry, because George won't let Terry smoke in his own car. It's just,
Oh God.
so Terry
I'm
had
surprised
to-
Terry even lets that go on.
yeah, so Terry would have to leave to smoke cigarettes, and
God.
finally we get through the traffic. We're like an hour away, and we call the bar, and they're like, "Listen, if you guys can't get here by midnight, we're just canceling the show. That's it." So we were like, "Oh man, we're not even gonna make it. Like, we got to cancel the whole 8 days now." And we finally crossed the line, and we hit like a different time zone. And
Oh, right.
yeah,
And that saved you. Right.
So like
Went
all our
back in
phones,
time?
all our phones got reset like by another hour. So we actually had an extra hour to get to the show, and we like felt like we time traveled, and we actually got to the place, had the show. I got out in my pajamas, hosted the show. Went back to the car, changed, put on real clothes, and came back and then introduced George. And it was hilarious. It was a great time. We just couldn't believe that, like, we didn't realize, like, oh shit, now we're in the central time zone.
Wow. He was also telling me some story about how he was there was some patron. Were you part of that, where the guy was kind of heckling them and then they went off on him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, was that the fight
Yeah.
in Belmore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry put the guy in like a sleeper hold
Oh my
because
God.
George got
Yeah.
someone to run onto stage. Yeah, that was
So you witnessed
that was in
that?
Belmore. Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah, we've had some hell gigs like at different bars. There was the one really bad one in Double R or something like that in Ronkonkoma. That was like awful. These people just were like approaching the stage, like ready to fight us.
Oh my God.
So if you're a host, what do you do? If you're a host, what do you do in that situation?
I don't know. I'm not really scared of people at like some shitty comedy show. Like don't fucking don't approach the stage. I don't know. I've been in plenty of bar fights, so I'm not. That doesn't really intimidate me. But
Yeah, whenever I hate when you're doing a show outside Governors, like it's at some bar or something, and the people at the bar won't shut the fuck up, and you like try and do comedy.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you're like, what the hell, guy? You know?
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is on us is that we go to these bars and then we expect
Yeah,
the
they're-
bar
they're-
crowd
right,
that
they're
isn't
not
there
there
for a
for a
comedy
comedy,
show,
yep.
and they're like, "Yo, listen, I just want to watch the Yankees," and then
drink.
you're like trying to tell jokes about your dick, and like it's like
Exactly.
You're gonna need to be quiet.
Exactly.
And sit over there and give me $20.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
if
then
you
like
wanna keep
these
drinking
people
at
that
your
were drinking
local.
there all day. Now,
Yeah,
like
like-
they're like, all right, now you can give me $20 so these guys could talk. And they're
Exactly.
like, they don't want to
What?
hear it.
I'm
So
here every night.
Usually I go up and I'm like, if you guys shut the fuck up, I'll buy you a round of drinks.
yeah, that's a great way to
That's
handle it.
usually-
Oh,
yeah.
that's what Jim and I used to do because
Yeah.
we have a comedy open mic, and now they don't come at all. They kind of leave when we
Yeah.
come. But to shut them up, me and Jim would be like, we would take turns. Okay, all the people who are not comics, put your names in this basket, and if you shut up, if you're quiet, he said it in a nice way. If you're quiet and let the comics talk, we will buy you a free drink at the end of each person's 6-minute thing. So, and it actually worked.
Wow.
That's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
That's a creative way to handle it.
It was, you're right. So we didn't have to
This is
buy
probably a
rounds
good time
of-
to say. So the views, obviously, of us on the show, okay, and the views of our guests, okay, are not necessarily the views of Governors Radio or Governors Comedy Club, and they may not be the views of our sponsors either. So I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Do you want to do that?
Sure. We got Coaster's Tavern. That's 487 Newbridge Road, East Meadow. They do 7:30 sign up, 8 o'clock start on Tuesdays. Bonnie and Jim are down there.
and John Alvaro.
and Don Olivero for comedy nights on Tuesdays. Comedy open mic, free comedy, free shots for the comics, free tacos for the comics. Jen's always down there. Say hello, tell her we sent you, and she'll give you a good deal. Buy back drinks, all that good stuff. And then we also have Smash. We're all going to be down there on Sunday, the 15th at 8 o'clock. We're going to be down
Yes.
Yes.
there. Bonnie's going to be spanking people. Jim's going to be
No, I'm getting spanked.
kicking Graz's ass on the ping pong table. It's a ping pong bar and hall. They've got food down there. They've got drinks.
Now,
and-
is it actual ping pong or
Yeah, it's
like
actual
beer
ping
pong?
pong.
No,
No,
it's
it's real ping pong.
They have
Olympic-sized
20
tables,
Olympic-sized tables. yeah.
paddles,
Really?
balls.
Yeah.
There's a
It's-
demand for that,
It's
huh?
a glow.
It's right
a
behind
glow.
Governors.
Yeah, I know.
So cool.
I live down the block.
Honestly,
so
it's
I
a
see it
really
every
cool.
day.
So
Like,
Sunday
we
night-
go in there.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you should go.
Sunday
down
night
there.
you should come in. Why? Because Sunday's a good deal for you. Because
He can't drink.
all right,
Yeah.
well,
But he
it's
can
still
have
it's still
Frank's
good.
in
Do you
the
like pigs in a
blanket.
blanket? You can have pigs in a blanket.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, he's allowed to have pigs in a
Me
blanket.
and
Yeah,
Hugh
yeah.
will
So-
polish
so
off
there's-
all 100
there's gonna
of
be-
them.
there's gonna be 100 there's gonna be 100 pigs in a
That's,
blanket, which
not
is
a lot
nice.
of pigs in a blanket.
They actually have really good food. You can play
Cool.
some ping pong. So you can play free ping pong, have some free pigs in blankets. Now, the other part might be a little tempting. There's going to be $320 worth of, or $350, whatever it ends up being, of free drinks also. So there's no reason for everyone not to show up.
And
We
it's
should
al-
have 50, 100 people easily.
It's also for charity. Jim's charity is St. Jude's, and Graz's charity is Autism Speaks.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
They're
Graz
throwing
says
money
he's a
around, but it's
7
all
out
going
of
to
10. So a 7, I don't know, maybe they can beat a 10. We'll find out.
So I just want to say Graz is actually watching now. Hi, Graz.
Graz.
My friend Robert Soul is watching, and he is the co-owner of the Long Island band Street Fighter. He's going to be a future guest on the show.
And Graz
if
very
we can ever get our
generously-
act together, Robert.
Graz very generously, like I said before, put up $100 of his own money so people can have free drinks to come out to this event. And he's also donating his $20 gift card, which he won on our show as well. Hopefully he'll have his $250 if he beats me, and then he'll be making money for the night. But
Nice.
So do you want to tell us anything about your personal life?
As far as what?
Besides him being a drug addict.
Yeah, I know. Can we get a little more
so
personal,
are you dating
please?
anyone right now?
Oh, yes.
I met your girlfriend.
We've been dating for about
If
a
you
year
don't have
now.
a driver's license, now you do. But if you didn't have a driver's license the last 7 years and you're able to get a girlfriend, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've had to have many girlfriends to get to gigs. Like that's the whole point.
Part of the deal.
No, I started dating Kristen. If you guys met her, Kristen
I met
Florio.
her.
She's a.
I thought he was going to say Tinsley. I'm like, really? She's
No.
driving you license?
No.
Was she taking you in the bus? Okay, no. Okay.
We actually met through stand up. multiple years ago. She was on the scene. And
Right, she was a comic too.
Yeah,
from what
yeah.
I
About like
remember,
5
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
She's doing more improv right now. She does a lot of work with.
I think she was watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. She does the Cherry Bomb Improv Group, which is an all-female improv troupe that like they do these random shows, from time to time. So they're pretty funny as far as improv goes. I just don't like it. No,
I
I'm
tried
kidding.
improv. I hated it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it seems tough. It seems tough, but
you have to
they
be
do
really
a good
not
job.
shy.
Yeah,
You have to be really like willing to put yourself out there.
it's definitely seems more for actors than comedians.
Yeah.
because like the overacting seems to get big laughs.
All right, so you can go online and you can for October 7th, you said?
November 8th.
November
Close.
8th. It was okay. November 8th. Okay, right here, Governor's Little Room. You can go on. You can buy tickets. All right, come on down. It should be a very, very funny show. All
Yeah.
right, thank you for coming on, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
And that's Hugh Murray,
job.
everybody. Hugh Murray.
So a couple more people are joining us.
Now-
Teresa Farrell, who had like some really famous guest on this morning from Teresa, type in who you had. Like
He's
she
that famous. Wow.
Yeah, it's so famous. I didn't even know who he was.
He's famous. He's on like one of those America's Got Talent things.
Oh,
and
okay.
Bobby's
singing
listening.
things. Teresa, type in who was on your show this morning and wait, Tuesday.
Mike's
Tuesday.
shaking his head at me.
So Bobby, type in. Are you going to be coming to the? You going to be coming to the event on Sunday?
And,
So-
and also Graz says he's going to wipe the floor with you.
All right. I look forward to it,
Let's see
Graz.
you
I look
try,
forward to it.
Graz.
All right, so we're gonna get to our next guest, and I actually booked this guest. So
Let me say one thing before you bring this guest on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Bobby, since you can't answer back, Pete Rose does belong in the Hall of Fame. Okay, go ahead. You can go.
Okay,
Agreed.
so our next guest is back from a West Coast tour. He headlines, and his name is Richard Schultes.
Welcome.
Oh, I feel bad. I can't. How do I follow 9/11 in the last guest? I got
I know,
nothing.
I know.
I got no great stories like that. It's incredible. Here's what I thought was great. When he was sitting there and he was talking about having a substance abuse problem, and then he's talking about all the bar fights he got in. I said to myself, it's like everybody I grew up with. And he says, I love this guy. He's great. I love everything about him.
Well, where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Kingston.
Oh, okay.
But everybody, I used to have a lot of properties up there, and the big thing around town was I had a lot of people working for me. And everybody would say you can't work for him unless you have a substance abuse problems or you were recently arrested, because that's everybody worked with.
Yeah, everybody else is a snitch.
So I understand. I understand your pain. I actually went through. I sat through a guy who went through withdrawals. I sat through that whole, getting off the heroin stuff. And I told him at the start, like he's one of these tough guys like you, a big tough guy like him, right? But in the middle of it, he started crying to me. Right, and it's supposed to be like an emotional moment, this guy breaks, finally he broke through. He's trying to hug me crying, and I remember hugging him and going, I'm going to tell you something. This is it. I said, after this, I said, if you go back to drugs, I said, don't come and see me.
Yeah.
But so I know exactly what you're talking about, what he went through.
we. I know something about you. I hope it's okay if I bring it up.
You whatever you want to. Is it anything to do with me being gay or?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, so no one knew about that. All right, sorry. No.
So we were talking, and everybody knows I have two autistic kids, brother and autistic kids, and he's the only one who actually tops me.
Oh, I beat everybody.
Tell everybody about your family situation and listen up.
Well, if this is what you're asking, I got 5 retarded brothers. If
That's what I'm
yes, I have
saying.
5 retarded brothers.
He grew up with 5 retarded
And a
mentally
retarded stepsister.
Wow. And where are you in the lineup? How are you?
I'm the 3rd retard.
Gotcha. Okay. Third in line. And wow.
What's great, the best part of this, I always say to people, I got 5 retarded brothers, and I say, if you ask my brothers, they say the same thing.
Yeah. There you
Get
go.
it? Get it? See what,
I get
see what we're doing here? This is radio.
No, that's funny. But that must have been very difficult to grow up. Like I had one handicapped brother. I'm talking about as a sibling now.
Right.
I had one handicapped brother, and he just created havoc. I mean, he would. I don't know how badly behaved your brothers were, but my brother was out of a 10. When he was younger, he was like a 9 on the scale of badness. So how did your brothers?
Well, my brothers weren't like that. They weren't doing nefarious shit on purpose. but they do.
Well, that's whether it's
Right.
purpose or not.
Right, like
tell me what
they weren't.
you know.
Oh, you name it, they would do. I mean, there was always every time you heard that, my mother, what fun now? What? So it was always something. A great story is my one brother there are different levels of disability.
Right.
And again, back then it was called, there were different levels of retardation. That's what the actual medical term was, mildly, and then to make people feel better, they came up with different sayings to make themselves feel better, with mentally disabled and so forth like that. And I asked my brother, I said, what would you rather be called, mentally disabled or retarded? And he said Johnny. So I got what he said. So-
I like that.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
Now, Teresa said she auditioned for Cherry Bomb.
Ooh.
How come I'm getting different things than you guys?
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So,
Okay.
Jeff Bosey's watching, and Felix is watching now.
Yes.
Guys, Jeff Bosey just started. I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Bosey, or I'm going to start a rumor right now. Started
did,
Long
he
Island.
did.
He started a page, Long Island Comedy Scene. It's for all comics to share their events, find out when events are going on. So you should visit that page if you're not on it
And
already.
people post on there if they want to be bringers.
Well, no, that's kind of what he's trying to do. It's like I honestly thought of it last Friday night. I didn't have a show going on. I didn't end up going out, but I honestly thought of checking that page and then maybe going to a
it's a
show.
great idea.
Maybe you'll get thrown on, or maybe you'll meet somebody that you've never met or got to work with before. I think it's a really good idea, and
right.
I put my 2 events coming up on it.
I liked what Esther did on her show. On Esther's show, to get a whole bunch of comics to come, she goes, listen, I'm going to give somebody a 10-minute spot. When you come, put your name in the hat, and I'm going to pick one of them out.
That's a really
so
good
all
idea.
these comics showed up.
Yeah.
So now she had a whole bunch of people there.
Yeah.
And then I told all of them before, I'm like, I guarantee you guys, my name's getting picked. They're like, how could you possibly know that?
And you're like,
like
I
I
paid
guarantee.
her.
Oh, yeah, I was
so
there.
I started walking up to the
He
stage.
was the headliner that night.
I'm halfway up the stage, and basically she calls out my name, and everyone's like, how the hell do you know his
So
name?
you did see them.
I did. What?
Yeah.
Do you really want a bunch of disgruntled comics as your main
I
audience?
was like, no,
is that what you're looking for?
A body's a body.
Let's have a show. Let's get some angry comics to sit
Yeah.
in on it.
That's where I met him from Esther. Esther was putting on that show. I was one of the people who came to watch the show. And if they had picked my name out of the hat, I would say I don't want to go on the stage. I'm like one of these people. If I'm there to watch, I have a different mindset. I'm there to enjoy myself, and I don't want to get
Well,
up on
I'm
the
going to
stage.
give you a little advice, young lady. And actually, one of the Bobby Finaro, who played Eugene on The Sopranos, told me this when I first started comedy. He said, any chance you have to get on stage, especially at the level that I was at, you're at, I'm not saying whatever level you're at,
Yeah.
you get on stage.
Yeah.
Oh,
At this
rats.
point, you get on stage because it's so precious to you right now. The little bit of stage time that you can get. If you think you're going to get on stage 3 times in that month, and somebody says you can get on stage tonight, that's 25% more stage time than you were going to get that month. That's a lot. You know what I'm
But
saying?
it's like
So-
I have to prepare myself mentally for
no,
it.
you don't. You already got it in your head. It's your stuff. What do you got to prepare yourself? It's your stuff. It's already in your head. You're not doing his stuff or my stuff. You've written it. It's something that happened to you. You got it. You just don't know. You think you got to prepare. You know how my preparation for getting on stage is? Somebody going, hey, get on stage.
You're up.
Yeah, that's it. But no, yeah. So anytime, just telling you that now. Anytime you can get stage time, get stage time.
All right. I will
If
take.
they
I will
picked my,
take that under
if they
advisement.
picked my name that night, even though I was closing the show, if they would have picked my name, I would have got up on
All
stage.
right.
And did
My
like
first
it.
set of the night.
So Jim Hopkins is watching. He is a retired police lieutenant, and I was wondering what his experience was with 9/11. So Jim, if you want to call in, if you don't, it's fine because he's watching all the way from Detroit. But
So
I,
you think it's a long distance phone call? So he won't be
it
able to
might
call
be.
in?
I don't know.
You think
it
he's
might-
in another time zone? He won't be able. He's like, what happened to you? He goes, I can't call in. I'm an
I
hour
think-
late for the show.
I think you mean as New Yorkers. I think. we
Bonnie,
have
you're
a
playing
little
up
bit
this
of a-
9/11 thing. I mean,
It's 9/11, isn't it?
We only get 9/11 once
Yeah,
every
no,
year,
no,
Jim.
no, we
Stop
did it
spoiling
every-
it for everybody.
You know what's great? Here's what I find that's odd about 9/11. You remember when, like, the year after, up until about 3-4 years after, it was the one day everybody came together. Remember,
Yeah.
everything you read on Facebook, everything you've seen on TV where people like, it's the one thing we came together as Americans.
Yeah.
This is what's great now with the shitty political climate we have and
Yeah.
everybody being on Facebook and, they get to give their opinions, whether it means anything or not. I'm reading them. It's a girl I know. I don't want to say her name, but it
Say
says,
it.
You're gonna know when you say what you're
No.
gonna
Oh,
say.
yeah,
but
she's
go
done
ahead.
it.
But go ahead.
So I'm reading it. It says, you know what? 9/11 is the one time when we all come together as Americans. There's a lot of political discourse going on right now, and we're just not coming together as a people. So I'm reading. I'm going, oh, she's finally going to go. Okay, because I always see her post this, this crazy shit. So at the end of let's come together. This is the one time we come together. There's like ... Get rid of all these fucking Republicans. They're all pieces of shit. This is the problem. I'm like, what? You had me.
Yeah.
You
were
had
almost
me. It
there.
was like, yeah, let's. Oh man, maybe this is the thing that's.
See, I actually disagree with the fact that they don't show the buildings coming down anymore. I think
They don't show the buildings coming down anymore?
No, they never. The Democrats did a huge. They got all upset about it.
Well, you know why they're doing that? Because if you look at it enough, you're going to see that it's not what they said happened.
Yeah,
That's
now
why
you
they're
sound like
not
my
doing
son.
that. No, listen.
I've seen him fold the dollar bill and show that it was, there's something there showing the buildings coming down.
Well,
all that stuff.
I'm not saying
some
that.
people, something happened to some people.
Oh no, something happened. But let me say this: just
You try telling someone that it's fake who's in the buildings, they're gonna get really
I'm
mad.
not saying
Yeah.
it's fake.
Yeah.
It happened. It
came
happened.
down.
But there's some shit behind that because let me ask you this:
He thinks the government did it.
how?
right?
I'm not saying the government did it.
I know the government.
How
did it.
can
Oh, no.
one of the most how can one of the most secured buildings in the world, the Pentagon, they got one little flash of supposedly a plane hitting it.
Yeah.
I ran a red light in Canarsie the other day.
Yeah, I know.
They got pictures of
got
it.
video.
They could probably. I think it was on page 7. How is that possible that they
Yeah.
got the one little? I'm not saying. I'm not obviously a plane hit. They went
Right.
there. All that stuff
Right,
happened.
right.
But there's a backstory behind. There's no way that they got one little clip of what's supposed to be a plane of a guy who's never landed a plane in his life, somehow got in over all those little hills in Washington, didn't bury it into the ground, hit the Pentagon, and there's one little clip. Come on, man.
There's definitely a lot of stuff the government doesn't tell us.
yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
lots
the
of
gas station.
Oh.
It's like it's from like the Getty gas station next door is where
Right.
that video is from. It's
right.
not even from.
Abib
like
got it. Abib's the one who came out. What's going on here?
Yeah, I got. Yeah,
None of the spy cameras, none of the cameras around the
Yeah,
nothing
that- yeah,
nothing
what's
else
up
got
with
it.
that?
Come on, man. I'll probably get assassinated when
I
I
know.
leave here.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
Here we go.
I think this is a good time for you to say the views of governors.
You know what?
We're
If
not getting
governors
this out.
don't agree with me, I'm going to come right out and say, before I came in here, I met with the owners of governors and the United States government, and they agree with me 100%. Everything I said is exactly what they think. As a matter of fact, I'm reading off a script right here with the owners of governors gave. Look, everybody's getting nervous now. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know the owners. I've never even performed at governors. I'm not like this guy right here. He's a governor's favorite.
Right, he's
Yeah,
a governor's
regular.
favorite.
I've never
We
even
love
seen it.
governors. Governors is
So
our
where do you
favorite
usually perform comedy?
club.
What's that? Oh, I don't perform comedy. I just lied. I did it one night, lied to her and told her I was a headliner.
No.
I'm actually all over. I just got back. I was in Florida for a couple months. I was a foreman at all the clubs down there.
Okay.
But when I'm in New York, I do Broadway a lot. I do Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
He works with Evan Weiss. Everybody knows
Yeah, as a
Evan.
matter of fact, we're doing a big show on the 28th. Come on down to the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Are you on that show?
I never go into the city.
Oh, you never go in the city? Big show at Greenwich
few
Village
times
Comedy
you've
Show on
been
the
in.
28th.
I've been in 3 times. For Michelle, for John.
Oh, good.
Someone's
Somebody's going to call
calling.
in and disagree with me.
Say.
Uh-oh.
do
Get
we
get
have?
ready.
Three's Comedy Radio Show. How can I help you?
Is your guest actually saying that 9/11, like he believes the conspiracy theories?
No, you
you
weren't
gonna say
listening.
this?
You weren't listening.
wait,
I
wait.
didn't say I
right.
believe the conspiracy theory.
Is this
I didn't-
Gina? Who is this?
I'm not saying that
Yeah,
9/11
it's
didn't.
Gina, Bonnie.
I'm not saying that 9/11 didn't happen. I'm just saying that this backstory behind it can't be what they're saying because the evidence proves opposite. Do you believe that the Pentagon got hit by a plane by somebody who's never flown a plane before in his life, never landed a plane, never even took lessons on landing it, somehow hit the
Now, who's this
Pentagon?
calling?
What's that?
Well,
Who's
what
this calling?
backstory are you talking about? Like
The backstory. There's only
It's
one
Gina.
picture of it. There's one picture of one of the most secure buildings in the world. They got
There's
one little.
There's one. Okay, I'll give you this. There's one picture they released. There's probably a million other pictures.
I agree with you
Yeah,
100%. So why
other
can't we see
things.
them?
Yeah, but Gina, the American flag on the missile, that's why they're not releasing the picture.
Why can't we see those pictures?
Listen. I have no idea. Our government has always had stuff they released to us and stuff they haven't released.
So
to
you
us,
see what
but
just
I mean-
happened? You
But
called
what I
you
will
called in to
say-
argue with me. Now you're agreeing with me.
No,
You know
no,
why
no,
you're
what
agreeing
I
with
am
me?
gonna
Because I'm
say-
right. I'm always right.
No, it's because it's 9/11.
No,
We
what
all
I
come
am
together on
gonna
9/11.
say-
Yeah, we're coming
is-
together for 9/11. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to
What
talk
I'm
over you.
going to say is,
Okay.
on 9/11, there needs to be a level of respect. I was there in 93 for the first bombing. My building attached to those buildings. I grew up in those buildings. I remember after 93 what they said to us and what they did to make those buildings safer. I do believe there were terrorist attacks, and our government had nothing to do with it other than making mistakes in the Middle East prior to.
But
But
what's
I
being
agree
hidden?
with Gina.
I agree, but why is there all? There should be no controversy at all.
Well, they had
This
Bin
should be-
Laden caught. This is a true story, and they called Bill Clinton. He was on the golf course, and they said, "Should we get him? We can get him right now. We have him cornered. We can get him." And this is when he was president, and he said, "You know what? I'll call you back and let you know. Let me think about it."
No.
And they
Well, he
called
was
back-
playing
Let him
golf.
go. I wanna catch
He
him.
called
He
back
had a
when he
good
was done
round
playing
going.
golf, and he
Give
said,
him
"Yeah,
a
go
head
get him."
start.
And they're
I
like,
wanna
"It's
catch
too late."
him.
Yeah, they had a good round going. Well, I got to be honest with you, and Gina, you might dislike me even more after I say this. I don't think Bin Laden had anything to do with it. You're trying to tell me
No,
a
he
guy.
didn't.
You're trying to tell me a guy who's hiding out in a cave in Afghanistan put that whole thing together. I think they just put his name on it, and he went, "You know what? I'll take credit for it," and then he became famous. I'm not quite sure if he was behind it.
Well,
So
somebody was
rebuttal.
behind
I
it.
think there are many things that have happened over so many years in different governments that we've had here and different presidents, Democrat or Republican. There's always stuff that they do not let the American people know for one reason or another, and none of us know the reason, but I do think that this happened.
Yes.
We were attacked.
Yes.
Our government was not behind it. Our
Yes.
government made mistakes prior to it and leading up to
Yep.
it in the Middle Eastern countries that maybe led to it. But it's everybody's got to be respectful.
There's
of
definitely
the
things our
debate.
government doesn't tell us.
What-
Like Bill Clinton doesn't tell us that he went to those foreign countries to have sex with the underage girls. Like he doesn't tell us that.
Well, I heard this one too. Gina, I don't know if you know this because I know you're half agree with half not. But I heard a rumor that Bin Laden was actually going to be the sixth Backstreet Boy, and after that whole thing happened, that was called off. Now I don't know if that's true or not.
I heard the same thing. All right, we're on the same page. I heard the same thing.
But Gina, I just think that I agree with you. I don't think that there's anything that our government had anything wrong in this. It's just a horrible thing. I don't think anybody ever thought that a plane could be a weapon, and everybody was just taken aback by that.
All right,
now
well,
it would
let
never
me
happen
stop you.
again.
Let me stop
It
you.
would never
You-
happen again because now they're really watching the planes to make sure that. But no one would ever think that someone would use a plane. For
You're
a weapon.
100% wrong. They would back in the 90s. There was people telling the government that could be one of the weapons
But it
that
never
could be
happened
used.
before.
Well, until it happens.
Right.
You know, you don't get punched in the face if somebody punches you in the face, but once it happened, you
Right.
never go, I didn't think everyone was ever going to punch me in the face.
That's true.
But no, there's
Yes,
they
I
actually,
agree.
Yeah.
Bonnie, I agree with you, with your, if that's Jim or your guest, I'm not sure because I'm on a delay watching
it's the
Mouth
guest, yes.
booth. But I worked in those buildings for 13 years of my life, and I will tell you that it would be very, very easy for someone who was not a good pilot to follow the river, and hit those buildings.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're huge buildings. You
So
know?
let me ask you this. Do you work for the FBI? Do you work for the CIA? Do you work for any type of government agency?
No.
Gina, okay, so you figured that out. I don't know what you're. I'm guessing you're an accountant, or I don't know what you do. You sound like you got college
She's
education.
very important.
Right.
She's in charge of our whole radio part here.
She
so-
puts all the spots.
Don't piss
Oh,
her
is that what you're doing? Well,
And she's also in real
so
estate.
you figured that out, and whenever you were there, so you don't think somebody who's supposed to figure this out and say, okay, these buildings are ripe to be hit by
This
a
is a
plane.
perfect example, though. See, Long
I
Island.
do.
This
I
is, when you do
think it
comedy,
was
this is a perfect example of it.
definitely-
Long
Wait,
Island.
let Gina talk.
It's definitely something that was discussed because, like I said, I was there after the 93 bombing, and there was a lot of discussion about how vulnerable those buildings are.
Yeah.
But how do you protect the airspace? No planes are allowed to fly over Manhattan or come close to Manhattan the way those did. But you can't hide the direct the river that leads you there is so prominent from the sky that it's easy to follow. And these guys took pilot lessons in Florida. But yes, how are they going to protect from being hit by the air? That was the problem. thought about it, they talked about it, but there was nothing they could put in place. After 93's bomb, they put a ton of stuff in place down on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Well,
whole thing.
It's really
Nobody
unfortunate.
thought it would really
the whole
happen.
thing is
Well,
unfortunate.
we appreciate you calling in, and
Yeah, thanks, Gina.
appreciate you giving us the views. We will talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right,
So,
be good, Gina.
Thanks for messing up our comedy show,
But-
Gina.
but no,
We're
we're-
on a good roll here, talking about retarded people and
Bring this back
people
to
with
comedy.
It was
addiction,
so light.
and now.
It was so light.
Oh dear God.
Long Island and
Gina, don't ever call into this radio show again. I don't
Long
care
Island,
if you
New
do run.
York.
I don't care if you run the place. I'll never come back.
Long Island, New York are completely different when you do comedy, and this is part of the reason why. All of Long Island here is more conservative, and that type of comedy works. But then when you go into the city, they're very, very liberal.
Oh, yeah, it's
and you kind of have
night
to
and
adapt
day,
to that.
night and
And you can
day.
see it, like even now, when a lot of our listeners they're from the Long Island area, you're going to get more conservative views. But then you go into the city, oh my God, they're much more liberal.
Well, yeah, they are. But I'm more conservative myself. I'm conservative when it comes to taxes and government interference, and I'm liberal when it comes to marijuana and prostitution. So I'm kind
Okay,
of
sounds good.
kind of in the middle.
At least you got your priorities on it, right?
I'm in the middle. I'll take both sides of the argument. I'm just here to argue with people.
Hey,
You're doing a good job.
the only way we're ever going to get rid of this national debt, we have to legalize all the sins, you know,
No, well, you can't. Listen,
and tax them.
you're half kidding, but you can't legislate morality. It's been proven over and over. So, they tried to prohibition. It didn't work. So now listen, everybody's going to, prostitution's been around forever. You're not going to stop it. What a woman does with her body is, or a man does with his body. If I want to give you $20 and you want to give me a hand job, or 10, what you offered me outside.
I'll pay to see that.
Yeah. Then you should be able to do that. There should be, and you know what? The government should make a little money off that instead of fighting against it. Marijuana, finally. The government is figuring out, and the big business is figuring out how to make money off of marijuana.
It's no
So what
different than
happens?
marriage. You know, you get married, they want a house, they want a car.
Oh,
they
please.
want
I
Listen.
supported my husband, so I don't want to hear you say that. Anyway, Jeff Bosey is saying, well, after Trump goes ahead with his space program, he's going to start building force fields. Is that supposed to be funny, Jeff? I don't know.
Aw, Jeff.
And,
Well, it might work.
and
supposed
Bruno
to be funny.
says hashtag surface to air missiles. And Quinn is watching. Quinn Martin, he's watching from Canada, right, Quinn?
All right,
Yeah.
Quinn.
Yeah. So we're getting people.
What
from
did the Canadian guy say?
Canada.
What does the Canadian guy have to say?
He didn't say anything. Quinn, what do you think about 9/11?
Oh. I think the Canadians were involved in it. That's what I think.
Weren't you on the daytime show and Quinn called in? You had like a 2-hour conversation with him?
I was on. He was telling me. We were talking about dating. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked to him for
Yeah.
2 hours. You don't remember who the
Not
guy is?
2 hours.
Did
It
you
was
go out
long.
with him?
No, he
That's
li-
your big
he lives
thing,
in
isn't it? Didn't
Canada.
you recently get separated? Son, you see all the stuff with your on these dating sites and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Don't go on dating sites. That's for guys.
You told
not
me
women.
you told me that night. Wait. The night I met him, that guy. What's the guy that is always in Esther's shows? The other guy. He was setting me up on Plenty of Fish. He was helping because I'm technically
Yeah, and I'm sure he
retarded.
called you after that and
The
asked
other
you
guy.
out on a date, right?
I'm not gonna.
Of course he did. Here, I'm going to help you out. Okay.
He's
You
gonna-
see, I don't know if people can see. Here's who the dating sites are for. Him and me.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because here's the thing. You two girls could
She's
go-
married.
I don't give a shit if she's married or not. You two of you could walk across the street to the nearest bar. Tap the
To
first
smash.
guy you see on the tap the first guy you see playing ping pong on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you want to go have sex?" You know what he'd do? Put down the ping pong table, leave his wife there, and go home and have sex with you.
But
You
I
don't
want
need
more
to
than
be-
sex.
No,
Bonnie has
you
to
don't
be my
need more than that. You
better
don't
not
need
be
more than that.
leaving.
That's another government conspiracy. This whole
Uh-oh,
thing, relationship.
This
whole thing.
radio
Sex
show
is
is
a-
crashing now.
Sex is enough. Sex is enough. You got.
Oh, the phone is ringing.
All right,
I'm
let's
gonna,
do
I'm gonna
Another
try
angry
this. Great.
customer.
The Reeves Company Radio Show. How may I help you?
Yeah, so I was replying to the fact of how do you protect the buildings when you can follow a river?
Wait, who
So
is
yes,
this?
and
Sounds
I
like Jeff
know
Bosey.
that
Is this Jeff
Bonnie's
Bosey?
going like,
Oh, Jeff.
Bonnie's sitting there saying, he said Trump. Was that supposed to be funny? Nothing funny against my Trump.
Sorry, Jeff.
Well, you can say this much: nobody flew a plane into the building while he was president.
That's
Say
right.
what you will about that.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means. Is he the greatest president ever? I don't know. I don't
like
know.
how
No,
what-
Jeff, you like
Well, that's
Trump.
because he's building the force field. That's why no planes can hit the buildings anymore.
It could
he's building
be.
the force.
It could be.
No, but was that meant as a joke or are you serious?
It was a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, finally a joke. Hey, you know what the problem is? We're talking about such incredulous shit on this show that no one even knows it's a comedy show anymore. So when somebody
I
makes
noticed that.
I
On one of his
supposed to
rallies,
laugh
there was
right
like a
now?
gunshot sound. Someone had faked it, and basically he didn't move, and everyone was like, "Whoa, this guy!" He ducked like this, but he didn't get scared and run up the stage.
Hey, you
Yeah.
thinking this is the first time he's been shot? He probably heard that gunshot and went, nah.
not this
He went,
again.
that's a 38. That's not going to hurt
Have a great
anybody.
show.
All right, thanks for
Thank
calling
you,
in.
Jeff.
Jeff, you're the best.
Yeah, I just saw
Jeff, you better
last
come on
night.
out to Smash on.
Yeah, come on
Son.
down the 15th, 8 o'clock. Smash.
I'll play with my paddle too. You have a great night.
Yeah, me too,
All right.
Jeff. Love you. Bye.
You can play with your balls. Okay.
Okay, now is there anything that you want to plug? We have like 5 minutes left.
All I'm going to plug is Evan Wise's show.
Okay,
That's
go ahead.
it. That's on the 28th, September 28th, down at Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Always puts on a great show. Come on down and check it out.
He's always trying to get me to come down there.
Oh, I heard the guy headline. It's incredible. So
Yeah.
come down and check him out.
What is the, how do we get tickets? Is that on your page?
I think you got to go on Evan Wise's page. I have nothing to do with it. I
Now-
don't do that.
now,
I'm the worst. I am the worst with social. You know, I got a website. I had my granddaughter taking care of it, right? So I didn't know that she stopped taking care of it like 2
By
months
the way,
ago.
he's a grandfather. Did you know that?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and none of my grandchildren are retarded, so I got. No,
Yeah,
So you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, I'm ahead
No,
of the
go
game.
back. So you was talking about she helps you.
Oh,
with
she
your
was
social media?
the running my website and all that stuff.
She hasn't
So
worked for 2 months. Yeah.
What's it? She hasn't worked for 2 months. Had no idea. I just finally somebody went. You know how I found out about it is that the GoDaddy sent me an email saying there hasn't been any activity on your website in a while. So I called my granddaughter. She goes, "Oh no, I haven't done anything in 2 months."
She got tired of that.
She actually said, "She goes, I'm working at the movie theater now. I don't have time for that."
All right, we only have a few minutes left, so we're going to give one more shout out to our sponsors. Like I said before, obviously our views, the views of our guests, are not the views of Governor's Radio Station or Governor's Comedy Club, and they are not the views of our sponsors.
Okay. We've got Coaster's Tavern, 487 Newbridge Road, East Meadow. CoastersTavern.com. Tuesdays, open mic down there, 7:30 sign up, 8 o'clock start. They've got a pool table. They've got live music. Jen's
All the great
down
ones
there.
have come through there.
They've got a bunch of good shows. Me and Bonnie actually were in a show the other night down there. They packed the house out. That was a good time. And then there's JustSmash.com. Smash is a ping pong bar and hall. We're going to be down there on the 15th, like we've been saying.
This Sunday.
It's this Sunday, 2953 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown. 2953 Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown. It's called Graz vs. Jim Rea Ping Pong Extraordinary whatever.
Get there early because if you give away free stuff, people will get there early and they're going to drink it. So $350 sounds like a lot of alcohol, but if you get 40, 50 people, it's not that much. And 100 pigs and blanket can go like that. So get down there like 7:45 and you get to see this match. It should be an amazing event.
And they also have league play and teams down there. Go ahead.
And you can get
Jacob
lessons you want.
just he typed in "I like sex." Okay, Jacob. So thank you for your contribution to the radio show.
To the 9/11 edition of the show.
All right, Jacob.
Okay, what have we learned here today?
I'm supposed to get on the stage and I'm supposed to have sex and not worry about
That's
anything
right.
else.
Also, heroin addiction is a choice. Retarded people are faking it, and Canada was behind 9/11. That's the one thing you take away.
Those are the
three things
take homes.
And if you don't have a license, there's still girls who would date you.
That's right. Well,
Yeah,
when you look
seriously.
like that, if I didn't have a license, I'd be dating you for sex only. No,
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Just for the ride.
Well,
Okay.
Oh.
my
You just
daughter,
blew it.
my daughter has me watch this show, The Bachelor in Paradise, with her. So all these girls make these horrible decisions. This one guy dumps her twice during the show, and then at the end he leaves. He on her birthday he dumps her. He leaves the show. Then finally she falls in love with this other guy, and he comes back and says, "I want you back." She's like, "Fine." She jumps in his van. He doesn't even have a place to live, and she drives off with them. I'm like, these girls. I'm trying to teach my daughter. I'm like, what are you nuts? You watching these girls? They're idiots.
That sounds like my father. That was my father. He was doing the same thing to my mother.
I think girls for some reason they like the bad boys. They like the
Oh, I'm
ones.
sure they do. They don't. That's what they want. They won't say it.
Something
two of the-
helpless.
No, I
They
know
want-
that.
they
I'm
want-
going to
you know
therapy
what?
for that.
They want the hard, aggressive sex, and then they want the guy to leave on a motorcycle, right? And then come back to grab his pack of cigarettes. That's what they won't admit it, but that's what they want. At least that's what I say they want.
I love it when these women complain that they were kissed involuntarily. It's like every kiss is involuntarily. What are you talking about? People don't say, "Oh, can I kiss you?"
Yeah, they do now.
Oh God.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's the new world. Can you
They say,
imagine?
"Can I give you a kiss?"
That my grandson is going to grow up in this world where he's got to be. You can't be romantic anymore. I was going to bring you guys flowers, and I was going to bring you
Nope,
in the
definitely
high end.
good
No,
thing you
now
didn't.
it's
That
good.
was
I
fun,
didn't know.
yeah.
I
Good
thought
thing
you would
you
see it
didn't.
as being sexist. I thought the addiction guy over
Yeah,
here would
where's
eat all the
Hughes
chocolate.
flowers,
I'm
you
just-
bastard.
Yeah, that would be not fair to the gentleman in the
That-
room. I'm just
Yeah, there
joking.
you
I
go.
brought a
Yeah,
I brought a
There you
condom
go.
for him. So
All right.
All right. Well, we always have to end our show early every week so I can get home and watch the 90210 reboot.
Seriously? Aren't you like
Wow.
delving into football?
No, I promised
season?
Lauren when next time she came on, she's not watching our show today, that I would talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. She's not
Yeah,
listening.
Oh, all right.
she wasn't on.
So,
Yeah.
Lauren,
So,
when you
Lauren,
tune
we're not
in,
going to talk
we're
about
gonna do the
90210.
90210.
When you tune in, we'll talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it if you're not listening. And now, what else did you
Bruno,
say,
thank
Bonnie?
you. You said great show tonight. Thanks, Bruno.
What else did you want to say, Bonnie?
I didn't want to say anything else.
Okay, that's a good point. That's 10.
The 20th, I'll be in Ronkonkoma at Barton's Place.
Okay.
Oh, October 5th, I am here in the little room with Peaches Rodriguez, show produced by Charlie Banquet.
Oh, that's gonna be a good
Sunday
one.
night, if you don't show up, I will consider it an insult.
Yeah, so don't diss them.
So anyone I see that didn't show up, who's one of these comedians out there, I will be insulted.
Uh-oh. That means no one's
We're giving you
coming out.
$350.
That's like the kiss of
gonna
death
We're giving you
now.
$350 at the drinks. We're giving you free
Boycott.
food, and we're giving you 2 gorgeous rooms to play in with used tape. With
girls. I thought he was gonna say one.
no,
Well,
you can't say
look-
that nowadays. He wanted to. You can't say that.
look at their website, and you'll see the girls. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys all Sunday night. Where and I beat Graz in ping pong, and it'll be a great match. And then Bonnie's gonna. I don't know if she's gonna beat Eric or not. But either way, she's gonna get spanked. So you can all watch that.
Eric
what I
is
mean?
married.
You can-
Eric and I are just
Well,
friends.
that's it. You can say you're going to spank somebody. If we say we're
No,
going to spank
he said-
somebody, we're
he-
in trouble.
He said he would spank me.
daytime radio.
Oh, he said it? With
Yeah.
your permission?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Bonnie, he's in a position of power too. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He is. He's technically my boss.
I just hope he doesn't have to masturbate in front of you. His career would be over.
Yeah, but if you're both Republicans, it's okay.
We're both
It's only when there's
Republicans.
one liberal involved that things go to shit, you know. All right.
Negate each other.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please like and share our show.
Thank you,
We will see you
Richard.
all next
I
week
had
Thank
where
you.
we will give you the recap of the ping pong match. Hopefully you're there to see it live. All right.
right.
All right.
Be
We'll
good,
see you all
guys.
soon. Song over.
Bye.